Yeah, good afternoon to you. Welcome to our Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam webinar series. This is the 24th webinar, and Happy New Year to all of you. And with today we have with us CMA Amit Anand Apte. Sir is former president of our institute. Before we start the event, we start with our institute's anthem as a protocol.
तूमा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्युर्मामृतं गमय असतो मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्युर्मामृतं गमय असतो मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्युर्मामृतं गमय.
Just to read a short profile of our speaker, CMA Amit Anand Apte. Sir is having 30 years of post-qualification experience in the field of costing, MIS, finance and accounts, and ERP system implementation. He was president of the Institute of Cost Accountants of India in the year 2018-19. He was chairman of WIRC in 2010-11. After that, he was our council member from 11 to 19. He is presently Director of Labor Consultants Private Limited and Labor Info Solutions Private Limited. He is also partner of Joshi Apte and Associate Cost Accountants. He is partner of Unique Valuers and Techno Financial Consultants LLP, who are the registered valuers and Techno Financial Consultants. He is a member appellate authority constituted by the central government. He is former member of Independent Evaluation Committee constituted by IPA under RBI's framework for revitalizing distressed assets in the economy. He is former member of RBI Committee on Cost of Government Banking, received special acknowledgement of efforts and contribution. He is also the All India ranking in the our CMA final exams, topped Pune University in Diploma in Taxation Laws exams. Sir is a registered valuer of securities and financial assets. He is also qualified company secretary. He has done overseas stints in UAE and Egypt. And he is presently is very adventurous and does independent treks to over 10 Himalayan destinations, including Mount Everest Base Camp and Mount Kilimanjaro, Tanzania. He was also state level representation and meritorious performance in table tennis tournaments. With this, we start today's webinar. Welcome to you, sir, and over to you, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Dibendu. So my slide is visible, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So first of all, I'm privileged to address this webinar today under the Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam series that has been initiated by the Sustainability Standards Board of the Institute of Cost Accountants of India. I must congratulate the board and the chairman, CMA Ashish Thatte, the Central Council member, for taking this initiative. Sustainability has been happening thing on the international arena, and our institute has commenced a lot of initiatives at the right time. And in fact, this Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam series, which was started, it has been going on every second and fourth Friday every month for a sustained long period of time. I must also congratulate the Sustainability Standards Board for announcing January 25 as the Sustainability Month, which starts with my session under the Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam series and concludes with the Sustainability Summit, which is planned on the 30th of January in Delhi. So basically, sustainability means meeting our own needs without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. In addition to the natural resources, we also need the social and economic resources. So primarily, social sustainability is not just about environmentalism, but also it has the social and the economic angles attached to it. So when I was the student of the Institute of Cost Accountants of India some 30 years ago, the concept of corporate social responsibility or sustainability hardly existed. In fact, in the 1970s, there was an economist by the name Milton Friedman who argued that the sole purpose of business is to generate profit for the shareholders. Further, he argued that the corporate social responsibility and the sustainable business are disastrous from the core obligation of the business, and the business had no right to reduce the profits or forego the revenue in the name of social good. Now, these fundamentals of cost accounting, which I was taught, was that, in fact, it is true even today, that cost accounting helps in achieving the optimum utilization of these scarce resources. But Mr. Friedman's argument left me confused. Of course, I have no intentions to counter the views of Mr. Friedman. Well, after all, he was a Nobel laureate in economic sciences. But it did leave me a lot confused at that time. However, with the passage of time, companies seem to have realized that different other motives of business rather than just earning profits also exist. Today, there is a growing realization that businesses and society are very much interdependent. Businesses cannot afford to function and survive in the long run unless they behave in a legitimate and socially responsible manner. The decisions they make and the actions they take reverberate throughout the society, and they can sustain their growth only and only if the society is satisfied with the overall contribution to the social well-being. So with this, I've just set the tone of the presentation that I'll be making today on CMA's the strategies for sustainability. So according to the findings of a global survey conducted by McKinsey and Company in 2007, 95% of the CEOs said that society now has higher expectations from the businesses taking on public responsibilities than it did 5 years ago. But then why should companies whose major objective, as per Mr. Friedman, has been to maximize profits for the benefit of their shareholders, worry about serving the interest of the society at large? Frankly, the answer is quite simple. A business cannot succeed in a society which fails. It is this reason that many companies have now started looking at corporate social responsibility as an important business strategy because wherever possible, consumers want to buy products from companies that they trust. Suppliers want to form business partnership with companies they can rely upon, and also the employees want to work in companies that they respect. So in India, I feel that the industry is still taking baby steps in the evolution of sustainability and CSR. It needs to catch up in a big way. In fact, I remember way back in 1988, a refreshingly and highly inspiring commercial used to run on national television on the channel Doordarshan. In fact, Doordarshan was the only channel available way back in 1988. And the advertisement portrayed the shots of happy employees, customers, students, a lot of common Indians performing their daily course, and all of them were very happy and helping the country grow and prosper. The unusual ad was from Tata Steel and had a humble but impactful tagline. which after the entire ad, there was a simple tagline that we also make steel. So that to me was the true beginning of CSR and sustainability culture in India. Of course, Tatas were also the pioneers of sustainability reporting, and they started reporting their sustainability performance from the year 2001 based on the GRI guidelines. Uh, Over the years, of course, Tatas were followed by ITC, Reliance, Sesagova, Mahindras, L&T, Infosys, Dr. Reddy's, HUL, ONGC, and in fact, many other companies. So based on the report published sometime in 2012, just about 100 companies in India voluntarily published the sustainability reports in India. Of course, that report is 12-year old, but still just 100 was a very minuscule number, considering that India has over 1 million registered companies. And in fact, even today, 51% of India's top 100 listed companies by the market capitalization disclose their scope 3 data for the financial year 2022-23, despite it being a voluntary disclosure in business responsibility and sustainability reporting, that is the BRSR, as per the last year's published PwC report. In contrast, an impressive 96% of the world's leading 250 companies report on sustainability. So this rate is obviously going to only increase, and sustainability reporting is definitely going to be expanding leaps and bounds in years to come, especially in India. Of course, at the same time, India is one of the few companies, in fact, maybe it is the only company where CSR, that is the corporate social responsibility, is something that is mandated by law. And the Companies Act 2013 has mandated that certain class of companies will have to spend 2% of their 3 years average annual net profits on certain activities in each of the financial year. So the choice for companies today is not if, but how they should manage their sustainability activities. Companies can choose to see this agenda as a necessary evil, or a matter of compliance, or a risk to be managed while they get on with their business, or they can think of it as a novel way to open up new business opportunities while creating value for the society. But one thing is sure, that sustainability is no longer a matter of choice. The stakeholders will in future increasingly expect and demand that businesses rise to the challenge of sustainability and shall forward companies, or rather reward companies following sustainable practices with higher valuations and enhanced corporate image, leading to their continued and progressive growth. So, as you are all aware, the United Nations has come up with sustainable development goals, wherein 17 goals have been set, which are expected to be achieved by all the nations across the globe by the year 2030. So the Sustainable Development Goals are a collection of 17 global goals which were set by the United Nations General Assembly. So they are basically the blueprint to achieve a better and more sustainable future for all, the entire universe. The SDGs, as they are popularly known as, they address the global challenges that we face, including those related to poverty, inequality, climate, environmental degradation, prosperity, peace, justice, and so on and so forth. The goals are all interconnected with each other, and it is important that that majority of the countries on this planet achieve their sustainability goals by 2030, which is the target set up by the United Nations. In fact, there was something called as the minimum development goals in up to 2015, which was replaced by the SDGs. Um, and the SDGs offer a new vision and new challenges for development across the world. As compared to the MDGs, SDGs are wider in scale and also much more ambitious. They consist of 17 goals, which you are seeing on the screen right now, and 169 targets and about 231 unique indicators, which are primarily established to monitor the progress done by each country. The SDGs are also different from the MDGs in the sense that they are universal and they cover each and every country in the world. As far as the MDGs are concerned, they were applicable only to the developing countries and not to the already developed countries. So the SDGs provide government, business, and civil society with a universal roadmap to tackle the urgent challenges, meaningfully engage with the emerging risk, and discover new opportunities for creating the value. In fact, it is not only the governments, but the private sector also, which is now contributing a lot to achieving the SDGs in a big way. I will just quote a few examples here. Unilever, which is the parent company of Hindustan Unilever, has come up with a sustainable living plan, which integrates sustainability into its business model across the globe. The plan has 9 social, environmental, and economic performance commitments and targets within the value chain, which ultimately contribute to 3 major goals which they have identified. Then there are companies like IKEA. So IKEA is a global furniture brand, and they are one of the largest consumers of wood, being the consumer brand. So they use something called as the environmental accounting to track their carbon footprint and the resource usage at all their centers across the globe. Then various courier services like the UPS or the FedEx, they use the optimization tools to optimize the delivery routes, which in turn reduces the fuel consumption and the carbon emissions. In fact, if any one of you has looked at the Google Maps very recently, Google Maps will give you the route that you have selected, what is the carbon footprint that it is going to create, and what is going to be the saving as compared to the other routes which are available in the fuel consumption and hence the carbon emission. In fact, there are companies in India like Ganesha or Niemann's, which is a footwear brand. Ganesha is a clothes brand, which recycle the plastic bottles, the water bottles that we use, and those are recycled and formed into wearable clothes, various apparels, and in case of Niemann's, the footwear. So their entire business model is revolved around the recycling of the plastic, which is a natural hazard. Then companies like the General Electric have their digital wind farms, which use the Internet of Things, that is the IoT platforms, to optimize the wind and the turbine productivity. Companies like Lyft or Uber have investment in carbon credits to offset the emissions that they are doing. In fact, selling carbon credits is one of the single largest revenue source of Tesla. Very few of us may be aware that Tesla I mean, we are aware that Tesla is one company which is the pioneer in EVs, and they have cars which are futuristic cars. But about 40% of their revenue comes from selling of the carbon credits. The carbon credits that they accumulate by savings that they make by manufacturing of those fuel efficient cars. They sell those credits to companies which are supposed to be environmental hazardous companies. So they have to buy those credits from companies like Tesla, so as to maintain the carbon neutrality. So India has its own sustainability goals. It has a zero a zero emission target by the year 2070. India is also committed to 50% renewable energy by 2030. So India had initially set a target to achieve a production of 500 gigawatts of fossil fuel-free generating capacity. That is the green energy that we call it. In fact, as of September 2024, India has already achieved around 200 gigawatt of the renewable capacity, and government has already announced uh, annual tenders of 50 gigawatt per year till the year 2030. So India is very much on track to achieve the 500 gigawatt production capacity by the year 2030, as per the commitment that they have given in the UN. Uh, India has also committed to a 45% reduction in the carbon intensity by the year 2030, and a 33 to 35% reduction in the emissions intensity from the 2005 levels over the next 25 years till 2030. In fact, this target, which was set by India, was achieved in 2019 itself, when India achieved the 35% reduction in the emission intensity. That is 11 years in advance. And this target on our own has now been revised further to lower the emission intensity by 45% by the year 2030. So these are some of the major sustainability goals that Indian government had committed to the UN, and we seem to be majorly on track as far as achieving these goals are concerned. Of course, India has its regulatory environment also in place. Uh, the current framework which is there, so the SEBI has mandated that the BRSR report should be submitted by the 1,000 top listed companies. That is 1,000 top in the sense by market capitalization, as the part of the annual reports being filed with the SEBI. So basically, BRSR is the business responsibility and sustainability report, and it was initially introduced in May 2021, and replaced the previous business responsibility report, which was called as the BRR report. So while SEBI has stipulated a timeline for mandatory compliance under the BRSR core as of February 2023 to all the top 1,000 listed companies by market capitalization, they have given a clear map that by 2023-24, the top 150 listed companies should comply to this. In 2024-25, 250 listed companies. Next year, the target is for the top 500 companies, and by the financial year 26-27, it is expected that all the top 1,000 listed companies must comply to the BRSR requirements of filing with the SEBI. For cost accountants, this can be a very big avenue wherein about 1,000 listed companies I have been mandated to comply with these reporting standards in the next 2 to 3 years. And in fact, SEBI has also said that not just these 1,000 top companies, but all the listed companies should adopt the BRSR reporting on a voluntary basis. Of course, there is a long way to go for that, wherein all the listed companies will comply to this. But as of now, 1,000 companies are definitely being mandated, and there could be some more from the other companies which will do it on the voluntary basis. Then Section 135 of the Companies Act also introduced the concept which I had explained in my opening remarks about the CSR spending. So this particular section mandates that any company which is having more than 500 crores worth of net worth, or turnover of more than 1,000 crore, or net profit of more than 5 crore, has to mandatorily spend 2% of their last 3 years average net profits on certain projects or programs which have been listed out in Schedule 7 to the Companies Act. So this provision was enforced with effect from the financial year 1st of April 2014, and CSR spending has been consistently going up since then, and a lot of good projects have come up basically for the social cause over the last 10 years. Then there are certain future trends which I'll just touch upon. What is been mandated already we saw in the previous slides, but over the next, say, 8 to 10 years, we can clearly see that there will be a lot of enhancement in the overall disclosure requirements. From what it is as on today, there is a likelihood that the voluntary compliances can be mandated to all the listed companies over a period of next 8 to 10 years. The overall environmental standards are also going to be much stricter than what they are today. And the overall sustainability reporting can be integrated with the blockchain, which is the new concept which has come in the last five odd years. In fact, Dubai or the UAE has become the first country which has implemented the blockchain integration for their sustainability reporting. So India is bound to adopt that at some point of time. Then there will naturally be some kind of social responsibility mandates on all the corporates, and the various standards on sustainability are bound to align with the international standards going forward. So we as cost accountants should possibly start preparing ourselves for these future trends, because they are definitely going to be a reality at some point of time in near future. Now, as cost accountants, our evolution over the last 100 odd years has been pretty consistent, I may say, but a bit slow in adapting to the requirement of the overall requirement of the corporate culture and or the various expectations from the various stakeholders. So if you look at the traditional era, that was the 1920s to 1960s, typically the role of a cost accountant was restricted to basic cost calculating and recording, and nothing much beyond that. Inventory valuation was something that we have been doing traditionally, and we consider cost accountants as experts in the inventory valuation exercise. So based on the basic cost calculation, we have been able to achieve the product costing or the product cost analysis, And budgeting and the calculation of the various variances has always been our forte right from the inception of our profession. Then in these 40 years that I am referring to, standard costing implementation and financial record keeping are also some of the activities that traditionally the cost accountants have been doing. But if you look at it, the key characteristics of our functions during that period was that we have always been retrospective focused. So based on what has already happened, we maintain the records and calculate the cost. It was never prospective. So it was retrospective, it was transaction oriented, and there was a very limited scope which was restricted to production costs. That's how our institute was named as the Institute of Cost and Works Accountants, which name we were able to change in 2012, wherein the term works was dropped, and we were able to also make inroads in the services industry and services sector. Um, as cost accountants, our involvement was very minimal in the overall decision making process, and our primary role was that of a score or a record keeper, and overall emphasis was on the accuracy and the details that we were providing to the management. After 60s also, our role was more or less similar, but there were a few advancements in our profession, like the introduction of cost audit, which happened in the 1960s, and also the introduction of activity-based costing, which was introduced much later, sometime in the 70s and the 80s. So our role changed from basic record keepers or calculators of the cost of production, and we started also evolving ourselves, giving more and more inputs to the management. The volume or the profit analysis was something, or the contribution analysis was something which evolved during this period. The performance measurement of various parameters started to be done, and overall the operational efficiency analysis was something that was undertaken by us cost accountants. So our role evolved to as a basic strategic cost management was something we started doing in early 90s. So naturally we had to have a broader business understanding, and we had to adapt to the technology with the advent of computers in 1990s or late 1980s, I would say. So then the next 20 years were more exciting, 1990s to 2010s, wherein our role became that of the strategic cost managers. And we started doing the overall value chain analysis, the competitive assessments, risk management, performance management systems, strategic decision support. So these were some of the new avenues wherein cost accountants started making inroads. And technologically also a lot of advancement happened during these 20 years, because of which cost accountants started getting into data analytics, implementation of ERPs. If you look at it, even today, a lot of companies recruit fresh cost accountants for the ERP implementations, especially the FICO module. So ERP system implementation became the in thing. Then the overall automation of the processes, various business intelligence tools we started utilizing, and also integrated performance dashboards. We started making inroads in developing those integrated performance dashboards per se. So since the 2010s till date, we have now further evolved as the business, and we are now a part of the business strategy formulations or the sustainability initiatives. Um, Overall, there has been a lot of digital transformation, and we cost accountants have been a part of that transformation. Um, then we have also given a lot of inputs on the stakeholder value creation or the enterprise risk management or the change management. And some of the value creation areas I have highlighted over here. Those include the strategic planning and execution, or the business model innovation, the performance optimization. Uh, we have been part of the various investment decisions, the mergers and acquisitions. We have been a party to the mergers and acquisitions, and also the corporate governance. So as far as our role in the sustainability is concerned, um, we are quite competent at implementing various strategies to deliver the SDGs um, at various levels. Driving investments to build the physical and institutional infrastructure that will calibrate the businesses, finance, and government activity around the SDGs uh, will require both the robust technical skills and the sound ethical judgment that we as cost accountants are well placed to deliver. So financial leadership and innovation are essential to the changes needed to tackle the risks and to create the businesses of tomorrow. And cost accountancy profession is uniquely placed to create both sustainable as well as commercially viable business models. So from more effective use of the data that is available and reporting that meets the evolving demands of finance and wider stakeholders, to designing new business models that take advantage of present, cost accountants will be central to delivering this critical agenda that will be the new engine of global growth. Um, Increasingly, cost accountants are now involved in the assessment and pursuit of SDG related opportunities that are more connected than ever with an understanding of wider context of operating in more complex markets where sustainable development issues lie at the heart of value creation. And environmental and social risks that are linked to many SDGs are growing for the businesses at an exponential rate. And we as cost accountants are very well placed to meet this growing demand for better and more inclusive risk assessment by using tools such as the integrated reporting. Um, excuse me. So increasing use of the digital technology, the data analytics, artificial intelligence within the profession will definitely be invaluable for engaging with the SDG issues, particularly when combined with the core professional competency of ethics, judgment, reporting, and of course cost audit. So cost accountants basically enable and facilitate investment in infrastructure and confidence in financing by providing key services in the financial and corporate reporting and analysis, due diligence, and business related activities. So from analysis of the impact of resource constraint issues to operationalizing the new business models that radically change the ways in which products and services are delivered. Cost accountants have a large potential in contributing to the SDG agenda around the world. And they must become more involved in a wider understanding of the external environment, and they must participate in much broader networks than just the pure costing and the financial side of the business. We cost accountants can encourage businesses to meet the SDG requirements through improved. Just a second. Yeah, sorry. So we can create models whereby we can emphasize on the importance of ethical behavior throughout the value chain, and provide decision makers with the information about sustainability factors which can be integrated into business planning and reporting, and focus on the best practices for governance and stewardship. As far as the future trends are concerned, as I mentioned, the artificial intelligence, the machine learning, blockchain, advanced analytics, Internet of Things, and cloud computing are definitely here to stay, and we cost accountants have to focus on all gaining knowledge of all these trends, if I may say. And our focus areas for the next, say, 20 years has to be the sustainability accounting, the overall digital transformation of the organizations we work for, innovative management, risk intelligence, stakeholder capitalism, or the integrated reporting. And as I understand, we have deep understanding of the organizational processes and costs, and also the expertise in the performance measurement and or the metrics. In fact, some of you may be aware that our cost audit had something as the performance reporting as a part of the cost audit, which was for later done away by the government. But analyzing the cost information on the various quantitative parameters is something that we as cost accountants are definitely trained to do, and that is precisely what is the requirement of the integrated reporting metrics. So we are also possessing the skill sets for data analytics and reporting, and the ability to translate the sustainability initiatives into financial terms, and that is where we can play a major role in the overall sustainability measurement parameters of any corporate. So I have tried to identify the role of cost and management accountants towards achieving some of the goals of SDGs. We already discussed that there are 17 SDGs that have been mandated by the UN. But out of that, some of those SDGs, we as cost accountants definitely have a large role to play. So number one can be the zero hunger. So as per the statistics, recent statistics published, some 795 million citizens across the globe do not have enough food to lead a healthy or active life. That is almost 1/9 of the entire population of the earth. And a vast majority of the world's hungry people live in developing countries, wherein about 13% of the population is undernourished. On the other hand, in case of developed countries, or what we called as the Western world, roughly 1/3 of the food produced in the world for human consumption every year, that is roughly about 1.3 billion tons, gets lost or wasted, and there has to be accurate measurement and reporting of the food wastage and creation of awareness And that is where we cost accountants can play a very major or key role. Then another SDG that I can think of is the good health and well-being. Um, we should come up with researched white papers on cost of poor health and cost of medical services. Maybe the institute can take a lead in doing this. And this will also pave a way for ensuring medical services at absolutely affordable costs. In fact, sometime in the early 2000, in that decade, some around 2004-5, if I remember right, Western India Regional Council of our institute had conducted a research on the cost of medical insurance, and based on that report was presented to the then government of Maharashtra. And based on that report, the cost of medical education was reduced by the government. All the colleges, medical colleges, were mandated not to charge beyond a specific threshold limit, and that threshold limit was decided based on our report of on medical cost of medical education. Um, then quality education, we have a major role to play in increasing the financial literacy and expanding the accountancy education to boost the profession's talent pool. And we must provide continuing education to focus professionals on the sustainable outcomes. Similarly, we have a major role to play in championing the gender equality or the equal access to education and supporting to drive a talent pool wherein all genders are given equal scope to learn whatever they have to and enhance their skills. CMAs also have a major responsibility in making the case for long-term value creation and over short-term profit, and encouraging investment in disruptive technology and infrastructure. We also have to ensure sound financial planning and cost control measures and risk management are taken care of by the various corporates where we are either working or giving services. And finally, of course, the optimum utilization of available resources and minimizing the wastages has always been the forte of us cost accountants, and encouraging the integrated reporting that considers the stakeholder value as well as the shareholder value is the next area where we should focus on. Furthering the adoption of globally accepted standards for reporting, promoting the ethical investments, and ensuring that businesses aspire and adhere to the SDGs has to be the focus of us cost accountants. As far as the sustainability reporting is concerned, we have a large role to play in the decision making of any organization. We can definitely create various models where investments that are required to be done for sustenance projects. We can create the cost benefit analysis of those investments. Then the risk assessment and management modules can be developed by the cost accountants. And we can play a large role in the overall stakeholder value creation. Basically, we have a role in the overall budget tracking of the sustainability initiatives, and the various process improvement recommendations can be initiated and monitored very closely on a regular basis, and we can design MIS and reports whereby the various initiatives for the sustainability vis-a-vis the benefits that the company has got by implementing those initiatives can be reported to the management. and in turn it can form a part of the reporting to the SEBI. Of course, there are some challenges that we are bound to face. And one of the major challenges will always be the availability of data and the quality of that data. Um, some of the sustainability measurements will involve a lot of complexity, and that is where we as cost accountants have to upskill ourselves to ensure that the measurement of various sustainability goals is done in a proper way and presented. There will be some challenges wherein there will be some personal interests of some of the stakeholders, and we as cost accountants will have to engage with those stakeholders and ensure that they do not become the hindrance for implementation of a good sustainability project. Um, of course, if we standardize the overall processes and collaborate with the various stakeholders, I feel that these problems can be easily sorted out, and we should be the pioneers of the change management and work on the various integrated systems whereby we can implement the various sustainability measures as per the vision of the management. So I'm giving us a small roadmap that we cost accountants can prepare for ourselves in order to implement any sustainability initiatives of the management. And it is a 4-phase roadmap, wherein in the phase 1 we have to assess the current state of affairs of the corporate for which we are working for. We have to identify the gaps which are there in that are to be achieved, and what is the status of those goals as on date. Then we need to map the various stakeholders and naturally set a priority. If there are different goals and different stakeholders involved, we have to get the priority of implementation right, so that all the sustainability goals are met in the priority of their importance. Once the basic assessment is done, the second phase can be the planning of the activity, wherein the overall resources can be allocated for the various activities that have been planned. A detailed timeline or the Gantt chart can be prepared, wherein various goals can be segregated into small activities with clear-cut timelines, and the overall risk assessment should be done for each of the activity. So that kind of a strategy needs to be developed in a detailed planned manner, so that the sustainability goals can be implemented in your organization. Now, as far as the implementation is concerned, it will always start with a pilot program. And based on the learnings of the pilot program, improvements will have to be done in the various areas where some problems were faced in the pilot programs, and only then a full-scale rollout of the implementation plan should be worked out. And on a continuous basis, the monitoring of the various tasks has to be done. And I'm repeating this again and again, but stakeholder engagement is something that cannot be missed out at any stage of the implementation. Finally, the evaluation of the performance after the various initiatives are implemented. There has to be a detailed process for collection of the feedbacks from various stakeholders, And of course, it's not the end to, once any initiative is implemented, it's never the end to it. It's always going to be a continuous improvement that has to be planned and executed. So strategic sustainability is always integrated with the overall financial performance of any company. So whereas a company thrives to have a sustainable growth, um, it has to be interlinked with the overall SDGs and also the financial performance of the company. So I'm giving you a few case studies in this presentation, uh, which are real life case studies which can be evaluated. So as I see it, if you implement a good sustainability strategy in any organization, there are bound to be certain financial benefits and certain non-financial benefits. So financial benefits are naturally increase in the revenue, uh, overall reduction in the costs, mitigation of the risks to the business, and access to the funds, because there are a lot of funds available today which invest in any of the sustainability goals. So these funds can be utilized by individual organizations as well. Apart from that, of course, there are non-financial benefits which will include the overall enhancement in the reputation of the organization, improvement in the stakeholders' relations, uh, employee engagement, and opportunities for various innovative ideas, implementation of innovative ideas. So overall, job satisfaction is something which can also be achieved by implementing a good thought through sustainability strategy. Here is a case study of a manufacturing industry. So the name of the company is Tata Steel. They had identified certain specific challenges, like the high energy consumption of as high as 25.8 GJ per TCS. Now, what is GJ per TCS? I will quickly explain that. So basically, GJ is the gigajoules per ton of cast steel. So it is basically a metric used to measure the energy intensity for steel production. Now, if you look at it, the best available technology benchmark across the globe for the specific primary energy consumption is in the range of 16 to 70 gigajoules per ton of cast steel. Whereas in case of Tata Steel, it used to be as high as 25.8. Then the water intensity was also pretty high at 3.68 m cube per TCS, and the carbon dioxide emissions were also pretty high at 2.29 tons per TCS. There are also a lot of waste management concerns. So as a cost account, of course, this is never going to be a one-man show. It has to be a team effort wherein all the stakeholders and a lot of experts are required to be involved. But so basically, the CMA's role can be implementation of the integrated reporting framework. So basically, this is basically the IR framework, as they call it. It's the set of guidelines that helps the organization communicate a comprehensive picture of their business performance by including the information not only about their financial achievements, but also the environmental, social, and the other governance aspects, allowing various stakeholders to assess their ability to create value over time, and considering all the capitals that are put to use, like human capital, the intellectual capital, and the environmental and natural capital. Uh, so basically, it is essentially a framework for creating the integrated report that goes beyond the traditional financial statements to providing a holistic view of the company's value creation process. Energy efficiency analysis can be conducted the way, not only energy but various other resource efficiency tracking is also conducted. Then the sustainability investment, what is the return of investment on the various sustainability initiatives of the management. Finally, at the end of it, TCS was not TCS, Tata Steel was able to achieve a 8% reduction in the specific energy consumption, 16% decrease in the water consumption, and overall more than 2,400 crores saving of various resources. And the carbon emissions were reduced by as much as 12%, and this in a matter of just 3 years, which was a major achievement for Tata Steel. Then there is a case for the service industry, which is the Infosys Limited. In this case, the challenge was that Infosys has large campuses across not only India but across the globe. So these campuses are naturally high on energy consumption. There is also, being a IT company, there is a lot of e-waste management, and the carbon footprint from its various operations of running these servers and computers is also pretty high. There is also large water consumption across all the campuses because it's a human-centric function being in the services industry. So as CMAs, the role in this kind of a company can be measurement of the carbon footprint that is being created by the various activities of the company. Infosys went for a green building initiative. So the ROI analysis of investing in a green building can be conducted by cost accountants. Same with the renewable energy investments, and by managing the e-waste, what all cost benefits can be achieved that can be presented to the management. And finally, the water conservation projects can be initiated and tracked on a continuous basis. So the end result of the various initiatives undertaken by Infosys Limited was that they were able to achieve a 55% reduction. Sorry, not reduction, but 55% energy generation from renewables. Then the 33% reduction in the per capita water consumption, 46% reduction in per capita carbon emissions, and about 1,800 crores saving in the overall resource cost was something that Infosys was able to achieve over a period of time. Then here is a case study of a public sector, that is a city municipality. So in case of any municipality, typical challenges would be that there will be constraints as far as the budget is concerned. Sustainability typically is the last of the priorities in many municipalities. The environmental compliances is also a major challenge for many of the large cities in India. And waste management will also be a challenge everywhere. And there is always going to be public accountability because municipalities are run by corporations wherein the elected representatives of citizens will always be there. So as a cost accountant, the sustainability budget allocation is something that has to be focused as a topmost priority. So cost benefit analysis for the green initiatives taken by the corporation can be tracked. and the performance metrics can be developed. Uh, there can be a framework for reporting to the public at large, so that on a continuous basis, the various initiatives taken by the municipality and the cost benefit achieved and the overall savings that the corporation has achieved can be made public to the citizens. And similar can be done for the waste management cost benefit analysis for the corporation. So the end result was that the municipality was able to achieve a 20% budget optimization, 40% improvement in the efficiency of the various resources, and overall enhanced public trust, and of course, award-winning sustainability program. So the municipality in question is the Thiruvananthapuram municipality in Kerala, which is the first Indian city to win the UN Shanghai Global Award for Sustainable Development. Now, there could be a question about a cost accountant being employed with the municipality. So there are many such examples. In fact, I come from a city, Pune, and let me tell you that the CFO of PMC, that is the Pune Municipal Corporation, CFO is a lady cost accountant. So there are avenues available in the public sector as well, and we as cost accountants should definitely take a lead in implementing all these sustainability goals. Here is some India market data that has been published. So the ESG funds, in one of the earlier slides, I mentioned that ESG funds are specific funds are available in India, and as on 2023, as much as 12,300 crores worth of assets were under management. Then there have been green bond issued by to the tune of 7.5 billion US dollars. Then there was renewable energy investments worth $14.5 billion. And corporate sustainability spending has been estimated at 24,800 crores in the year 2022. The overall financing of various green projects have also been substantial. So there have been loans for implementing various green sustainability projects worth 45,000 crores. Sustainable bonds worth 33,000 crores. This data is as on 2022. Then there has been ESG linked lending of 28,000 crores. And climate finance commitments worth 85,000 crores by various corporates. So basically the market size and the opportunities are huge. In fact, India has seen only the tip of the iceberg so far, because the market opportunities talk about something like 20 billion annual potential investments as far as the renewable energy is concerned. The electric vehicle market is growing at 40% CAGR in the period 21 to 26. And green building initiatives worth 70,000 crores are already being taken. So that the potential is absolutely huge. And there is some sector-wise data also made public recently, which is about energy efficiency improvement. India has seen about 18% improvement in the overall energy efficiency in the last 5 years. There has been an increase of 35% in the water recycling rate. Overall 22% improvement in the waste reduction, And in case of services, the overall paper reduction has been 65% thanks to the massive digitalization that has happened over the last few years. Then the energy efficiency in the IT, about 40% improvement has been achieved in the last 5 odd years. The green building adoption is about 55% in case of new constructions in the services sector. And overall sustainable procurement is higher by 42%. Then in case of the FMCG industry, the packing waste reduction of 28% has been achieved. The recycled material usage, there is an increase of about 35% of recycled material being used and recycled somewhere. The overall water conservation has seen an improvement of as much as 45%, and overall carbon footprint has reduced by 25% in the last 5 to 7 years. I will quickly summarize the key takeaways from today's session. So we will all agree that CMAs are essential for the sustainable businesses transformation. The integration of financial and the sustainability objectives is definitely very crucial, and that is where CMAs have a very important role to play. And there has to be a continuous adaptation, and learning is necessary, because if you notice over the last 5 years itself, a lot has changed in the way we are doing things with the advent of Internet of Things and the artificial intelligence. So value creation through sustainability is definitely achievable. We have seen that in the 3-4 case studies that we discussed in the earlier slides. Of course, when I say this, we as cost accountants have a very big responsibility. There is a call to action of certain improvements that we have to undertake. The first being that we will have to embrace sustainability as core to the CMA profession. As I said time and again, that optimum utilization of scarce resources has been the premise of our costing profession, and sustainability is nothing but optimum utilization of available scarce resources. We need to develop skills and knowledge for implementing the various initiatives that I discussed during this presentation. And we will be required to be not just followers but leaders in the transformation of any organization. If we follow all this, we will definitely create a lasting positive impact on the SDGs of that our government is committed to, and also a lasting impact on the organizations that we are working for. So with this, I will conclude my presentation, and thank you so much for being. I can see there are as many as 262 attendees. That's a big number, and there are a couple of comments also. So let me quickly look at those. So you are absolutely right, Jitendra Rao Garu. There are certain businesses which recently have come up. Jitendra Rao has given example of businesses like Swiggy or Zomato or Blinkit, which are the door delivery, which are creating some wastage. Very frankly, there is no clear answer as to whether they are waste generators or they contribute to waste reduction. But it would be a good idea that our institute can take up a study wherein the various savings that are achieved and also the wastages that are done by these kind of companies are analyzed, and we can come up with a publication wherein this study can be published. So I have got a few requests about presentation, sharing of this presentation. So I will be definitely doing that. I will be sharing this with Dipendu, and he will share to everyone who has attended this session. So sustainability can be a part of the TQM, because finally it's the quality that matters. So when you are talking about sustainability, it cannot be at the cost of quality. So the company has to have a fine balance between the sustainable growth, at the same time maintaining the quality of its products to achieve sustainable growth and increase in the profitability. Yeah. So I think thank you very much for your time. Thank you, Dipendu, for organizing this, and it was a lovely audience. 250 plus audience for a session on sustainability is definitely encouraging, and I can see cost accountants playing a very important role in the sustainable growth of our economy. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I think, sir, one question, sir, which is very close to you. So, any scope for use of AI in sustainability role?
So AI, if you look at it, Dipendu, over the last few years, AI has come in a very big way, and very frankly, all of us are groping as to where all AI, various AI-based platforms are available. So I could have used AI for making this presentation today as well, right? So which I thought I should not, because if I use AI, I will not spend my time in studying the various published data, and everything will be available to me naturally. But yes, as far as the various analytics are concerned, identifying the various data of various companies, comparing those, there are tools, and of course Power BI is something that can be definitely used for presenting it to the management. And there are other AI based tools which can be used to assist us cost accountants in making the various analytics and presentations to the management. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. I think we today had a excellent start for the new year, and also the sustainability month, which Amit sir told in his opening remarks that this month we are observing the sustainability month, and today we have started with a bang with this wonderful webinar presented by Amit Apte sir, and he has spoken at large the various aspects where CMS can be the strategies of sustainability. And we also have many activities lined up in this sustainability month. The next Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam webinar is on how leasing can help companies achieving circular economy and sustainability, which Sri Paresh Upasani, who is partner of business manager of Hewlett Packard Enterprise Financial Services, would be taking the session on January 24th of this month. We also have on 30th of this month Sustainability Summit, and IFAC President GN Bouquet has confirmed that he would be coming to our session. I hope all members would be visiting Delhi, where our Sustainability Summit would be hosted, and we would be also publishing our Sukhino Bhavantu on 25th of this month, which would be a special issue of this sustainability month. And also our course, the third batch of ESG certificate course would be closing on 31st January. I request all the participants to kindly take admissions because our course has taken up and we are in the verge of completing the second batch also. So with this, I thank our
Yeah, so
SSB.
Deependu, I will share the presentation with you. You can share it with all the attendees.
Yes, yes,
Yeah,
definitely, sir.
thank you.
I thank our SSB members, including our chairman, CMA, Dr. Ashish Thatte sir, for always helping us in organizing this webinars, this Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. Every fortnightly we are doing it. And we also thank Dr. Ranjit Krishnan sir also. He is also helping us in various activities of this SSB, and also our president CMA Vibhutibhushan Nayak and our Vice President CMA TCA Srinivasa Prasad for always motivating us to organize more activities in sustainability sphere. With this, we close today's session. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.